Good morning everybody, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today we have a really big challenge on our hand. I mean, cue the music, you know, bum, 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 but I can't do any more because of copyright reasons. This is Mission Impossible. Manchester United recently have an ongoing problem, it's been going on for a few months now, where they try and play the ball short, they don't have the profiles of player to play the ball short, therefore they lose possession. So instead, they decide, let's go long. But the problem is they don't have a goalkeeper which can really accurately distribute the ball particularly long, they don't have players which can then win the first ball, and they don't have players which can win the second ball, which therefore means that United lose possession, sacrifice control of the game, concede goals, and it leads to stupid results against Sevilla, Spurs, West Ham. There's so many different examples recently. Today, we're going to fix that. Well, we're going to try. So the problems that United are facing at the moment are clearly pretty darn complicated. But do you know what isn't complicated in the slightest? Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN is a VPN provider, which means that with just one click I can change my location. And bam, now I can watch the FA Cup games on BBC iPlayer, and also catch all of the weekend's highlights on Match of the Day. Something that I wouldn't normally be able to do if I was anywhere else in the world. On top of this, Surfshark VPN will also allow me to get around geo-blocking, which means that those annoying Netflix or Disney Plus shows, which are only available in the US, will now be available to me anywhere in the world. As well as all of this extra content which you can now access from anywhere on the planet, Surfshark VPN also protects you from having any of your data stolen. It's like locking your front door, but on the internet, keeping your information safe from hackers. And now, thanks to the brilliant people at Surfshark, you guys can now get 83% off your membership, plus 3 whole months for free when you use the code AJAnalysis. So make sure to check it out using the link in the description down below. So like I said, this is almost definitely something which has been causing Ten Hag a massive headache in recent weeks. He wants his team to play out from the back, but simply, they don't have the personnel to do it. However, I might have a solution, because whilst Manchester United may not have the quality of player to play out from the back, maybe they don't need to use quality. Maybe there's an approach where you can use quantity instead. And actually, as crazy as it sounds, use De Gea a bit more on the ball. Bear with me on this, alright? Instantly it sounds like absolute suicide. Just trust me on this one, I think this could actually work. But the first thing we need to do is figure out how the team works. So let me get the tactics board up. Here we go. How is the team going to work? Well, the first thing that United need to do in order for this game plan to work is make the pitch as big as possible. At the moment, United have a build-up structure problem, where the forwards aren't high enough up the pitch, which allows the opposition to press nice and high, but also these deeper players, for example the fullbacks in these areas, are often too narrow, which makes it easier for these pressing players to cover these areas of the pitch. So United need to make the pitch bigger. How can they do that? Well, one way that they can make the pitch bigger is by playing Marcus Rashford up front. We've seen it a few times recently, but ask him to really play on the last man. Now, the reason for this is because Rashford seems like the one player in the squad who really puts fear into the opposition. No teams are happy to leave one centre-back up against Rashford. No team is happy to do this and let the other centre-back go higher. Teams are just terrified of him. So they always leave 2 centre-backs back to deal with him. So instantly, you're pinning the opposition back. What we want from here is 2 wingers which are comfortable on the ball, and players which want to have a lot of touches and retain possession for their side. Who's perfect for that? Antony on the right wing. Let's put him in here. And move this fullback back a little bit. Antony here, and Jadon Sancho on the left-hand side. I think it's time he comes back into the team, because recently I think he's had a couple of good games, and I'm not too sure why he's been dropped. What United also need here is to stretch the pitch the other way. So they've now pushed players quite high, forced the opposition backwards, and, you know, stretch the pitch one way. Now we need to stretch the width. How do you do that? By playing left-footed players on the left-hand side, right-footed players on the right-hand side. So that means our back 4 is going to consist of Lindelof and Luke Shaw as the 2 centre-backs. We've got our left-footer and our right-footer here. Dalot at right-back on his right foot, and Tyrell Malacia at left-back on his left foot. I know Malacia's had some criticism recently, but again, just being left-footed for the balance of the team, it's going to come in handy when we break down the tactics. Then in midfield, we're going to go for the same old usual, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes and Christian Eriksen. However, what you'll notice is that we have swapped Fernandes and Eriksen round. So, let's get into how this is going to work from a structural point of view and how this could help United play the ball out from the back without adding any new players into the team. So as I've said already, the whole game plan here is to build players using quantity of footballers rather than quality. United don't have the profiles. So instead, let's put a lot of players in this area and ask the opposition, how willing are you to really go press super high? And we're going to use David De Gea. So, in terms of the structure, it's going to look something a little bit like this. De Gea is going to pull here, and Shaw is going to be here on goal kicks. Currently, we have De Gea standing between the two centre-backs. And the problem with this is that it's 3 players in a really central area, which makes it easy for the opposition to press them. Because there's 3 players really close, you need less players to press to cover all of them. So we're going to remove one of these players from the box. We're going to push Lindelof into this position here. De Gea is going to stand here. Luke Shaw is going to be the other side. This is how United are going to build up from goal kicks. We've got Dalot on the right-hand side, again being right-footed. Malacia being left-footed on this side. Lindelof here. We're going to push Casemiro a little bit further forward because he's no good in these areas. It's something which he used to do for Real Madrid, get pushed higher. And we're going to drop Bruno Fernandes into this position. What we have essentially created is a 2 here, then a 4 across, then another 4 across, and then Marcus Rashford up front. And what this is going to do is allow United to outnumber the opposition in these deeper areas. Because we have the wingers in Sancho and Antony tying up the opposition fullbacks, Rashford, who nearly always occupies 2 centre-backs himself. We then got the man-for-man system in the midfield here, which leaves the opposition with just 1, 2, 3, 4 players to press 6 Manchester United players. So that's the structure. Let's look at how it plays out. Now, just quickly before we go any further, I just want to kind of highlight and point out the fact this is all theoretical. You know, this is just an idea. I'm not 100% sure it works. Ten Hag needs to try something. So, again, stick with me on this one. It's not the most usual idea you'll ever see, but I think it could work. So what is the plan once you're in this structure? The plan is to play the ball one way, and you're kind of trying to bait the opposition into pressing you. Again, it sounds risky, right? United are terrible under pressure, so why would you ask the opposition to press you? Well, again, just bear with me. What we're going to ask is for the ball to be played one way, and you're going to ask the opposition to lock on, basically. So the idea is that United play the ball from De Gea to the right-hand side to Diogo Dalot. Now, initially the opposition will be in a narrow shape like this because there's too many players here, but we know that this cue of the ball going from here to here is the cue for the opposition to lock on and press. So this winger is going to come out to Dalot, this midfielder is going to come onto the near side centre-back, Lindelof in this situation, the striker is going to start making this curved run towards De Gea, and the far side winger is going to tuck in onto Bruno Fernandes. This creates a problem, right, because these players are now all pressed. However, there are a few different things which the fullbacks can do from this position, and it all works the same on the other side as well. First of all, with Dalot being right-footed on this side, rather than, previously he's been playing left-back, so it kind of hasn't worked the same. So the first thing that being right-footed in this area is going to allow is it's going to allow a really easy pass, simple pass down the line into the feet of Antony, where the protection of the ball does need to be better, but this is why you're playing Antony and Sancho on the wings in these positions. So these passes can be played quite simply up the line, and you're looking to retain the ball. You're asking Antony and Sancho here not to necessarily turn and try and beat their man, you're just asking for ball retention. Because once you go into this area, there's anything you can do. You might then pop the ball inside to Eriksen, who then goes around the corner to Rashford. There's a few different things which can happen. The other thing which can happen, particularly with someone like Dalot, is that they can step forward with the ball and kind of take on their man in this area. This then opens up the potential for Marcus Rashford to drop in towards the feet. In this area here. Again, do the centre-backs want to follow him? We'll just have to wait and see. But Rashford recently, particularly this season, has developed his ability in this area. He is now much better at playing with his back to goal. However, he does still need to do better. He can do better than what he has, but I still think he's improving. And again, this is something which United need to use. Overloading the middle of the pitch, using this pass from Dalot into the feet of Marcus Rashford. The other option is again to play the ball to Marcus Rashford, but this time in behind. We know that when you receive the ball in this sort of position, in the way that the opposition will always press you, it means that if you are right-footed, this option to go long over the top naturally opens itself up. Same on the left-hand side here, with Malacia being left-footed, it opens up this passing sort of channel here. Again, this is something which Marcus Rashford really thrives upon. So get Rashford running into these areas. The other thing we could see is maybe Rashford dropping deeper and Eriksen making the run past, but it's another way in which United can avoid the pressure. We don't need to see tons of passes in these deeper areas. United don't need to play an excessive amount of football here. Get the ball moving forward. These are instantly a few ways in which United can improve the way that they play out from the back. Using the width of the pitch, moving the ball wide to the fullbacks, and kind of taking into consideration the fact that the opposition will take a bit of time to get over and press you. It then allows you to move forward, and I think it's something United could do well. However, what we haven't really done yet is really made use of the overload. And that is what United need to do. Use the quantity of players in this area. Again, remember what I said earlier. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Manchester United players against 4 opposition pressing forwards. You've got to take advantage of that. It's a 6 versus 4 situation. And United could do this by using some of the principles which they already have in the team. Something that we often see when the ball is in this area with a fullback is Lindelof or Shaw or whoever the centre back might be. They will often make a run forward, dragging the player that's pressing them. However, what's different here is that Lindelof is stepping forward from this position rather than his normal position, which is here. So he's dragging a completely different type of player with him. Then what we're looking for is the patience of someone like Dalot to come backwards. Again, this is something which Dalot in particular does very, very well. But now we've got the pass opening up here. This pass through this channel. Like I've said already, the striker will have locked on because the ball will have gone wide. So De Gea will be pressed. However, it opens up this pass across here. It's something which teams do very, very well at the top level in brief moments. I think it's something which United could really, really utilise. Use this run here and expose the fact that the opposition have tried to press you. You've drawn them into this position. They've got 4 players here, but you have 6. Take advantage of that. Move one of them out of the way, move the ball across, and now suddenly you have a massive overload. Because you've now got Shaw, Bruno Fernandes and Tyrell Malacia up against just one winger. So with just this tiny pattern, a really, really simple pattern, which is actually quite easy to execute, you have now created a 3 versus 1 on the other side. Now the ball can be moved by Shaw, it can move forward to Tyrell Malacia. He might be able to carry the ball forward himself, or again, play a ball in behind for Rashford, or create the 2 versus 1 up against a fullback over here, or even more dangerous, he might drag a player out in this area, which then opens up one of your midfielders, and now you have the midfield overload. Using this higher volume of players in a deeper area could allow United to really overload the opposition and move the ball forward. And this is going to have kind of one of 2 effects. One effect is that Ten Hag's side will be able to create artificial transitions. This is something which Brighton do really well, where it looks like they're playing transitional football, but they're not because they're actually dominating possession. But by doing this, by moving the ball across in this way, you get into situations where you can attack the open space, and you are essentially now in a counter-attacking position. Certainly something which United could do. Or the other effect, and maybe the more ideal effect for United, is that it causes the opposition to sit off and stop pressing. Because they've realised we're pressing high up the pitch, but we're getting exposed. It's not working. Let's abandon that press, let's go into more of a mid-block or a low block. That would be music to the ears of Erik Ten Hag. Because that is what he wants his side to do. Because then, if the opposition are in a mid-block or a low block, his side can take control of the ball. And that is exactly why I think this is the approach to really deal with some of the headaches which this man must have at the moment. Get more players in deeper positions. Build up in this structure. Let's just put it back on screen real quick for you guys to see. This is the structure which Manchester United could be using. Now, like I said at the start, this isn't flawless, this isn't perfect. This is just a solution which I've come up with to try and help the squad now. We can talk about what the team should do in the summer or next season, whatever, when you've got new players in the team. But United need a short-term fix to help them over the line in the next 4 games to make sure that they get Champions League football. They need to take control of games. This is a way, in my opinion, in which they can do it. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you like this structure? Do you think it's something which could work? Or, is it too risky? Do United not have the personnel to do it? Let me know what you think. Is it also something which could be carried into next season with even better players in the team? Again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And also, let me know some other ideas you have, because there are different solutions to this problem. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This personally is my favourite one, but I'm sure I could be swayed otherwise. So again, get in the comments and let me know what you think. Apart from that, if you could subscribe to a channel with notifications on, it would be greatly appreciated. Also, check out Surfshark VPN in the description down below. Apart from that, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and as always, I will see you in the next one.